Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jayam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 25, the glories of devotional service, text number 42 onwards. Madbhayat vati vato ayam suryastapti madbhayat vashatindro dahate agne mrityuscharati madbhayat. It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows. Out of fear of me, the sun shines out of fear of me. And the Lord of the cloud, Indra, sends forth showers out of fear of me. Fire burns out of fear of me, and death goes about taking its toll out of fear of me. So he didn't mention, but it's obvious that coronavirus also goes out of fear of Lord. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, says in Bhagavad Gita that the natural laws are being enacted. Natural laws being enacted are correct in all activities because of his superintendence. No one should think that nature is working automatically without superintendence. The Vedic literature says that the clouds are controlled by the demigod Indra. Heat is distributed by the sun god. The soothing moonlight is distributed by Chandra. And the air is blowing under the arrangement of the demigod Vayu. But above all these demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the chief living entity. Nityo Nityanam Chetnas Chetnanam. The demigods are also ordinary living entities, but due to their faithfulness, their devotional service attitude, they have been promoted to such posts. These different demigods or directors such as Chandra, Varuna and Vayu are called Adhikari Devata. The demigods are departmental heads. The government of the Supreme Lord consists not only of one planet or two or three, there are millions of planets and millions of universes. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has a huge government and he requires assistance. So many times people talk about 33 Koti Devi Devta. And there is a very famous message that is going on WhatsApp. 33 Koti, that person says it's not 33 crore, it means 33 categories. But that's his speculation. It is 33 crore. And that's what Prabhupada is saying. The government of the Supreme Lord consists not only of one planet or two or three, there are millions of planets and millions of universes. See, every demigod has a planet to control. And every demigod has a department to look after also. So such a huge universe with so much of variety. So why cannot be the 33 crore demigods? Just those who don't want to believe, let them not believe. But Krishna, Prabhupada has clearly mentioned, at some places he did mention 33 crore demigods, 330 million demigods. The demigods are considered his bodily limbs. These are the descriptions of Vedic literature. Under these circumstances, the sun god, the moon god, the fire god, and the air god are working under the direction of the Supreme Lord. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. The natural laws are being conducted under his superintendence. Because he is in the background, everything is being performed punctually and regularly. So that is the control and that is the power of the Supreme Lord. And for that, he doesn't have to come out in the front. Just like look at the picture in the background, Lord Anand Padmanabhan, he's just sleeping there, he's in Yoga Nidra. And just by his will, everything is going on smoothly, perfectly. One who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is completely protected from all other influences. He no longer serves or is obliged to anyone else. Of course, he is not disobedient to anyone, but his full power of thought is absorbed in the service of the Lord. The statements by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapila, that under his direction, the air is blowing, the fire is burning, and the sun is giving heat, are not sentimental. The impulsionists may say that the Bhagavatam devotees create and imagine someone as a Supreme Personality of Godhead and assign qualifications to him. But actually, it is not neither imagination nor an imposition of artificial power in the name of Godhead. The impulsionists may say that the Bhagavatam devotees create and imagine someone as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. This argument I have also heard from somebody who said, did God create man or man create God? So he was saying in previous ages, a bunch of sadhus, they got together and then they just assigned some powers to God, and they said, oh, this person is God because he has all these powers. But this is not by our imagination he becomes God. He is God, mentioned in the scriptures, with all the wonderful qualities that he has and the powers that he has. In the Vedas, it is said, by fear of the Supreme Lord, the wind god and the sun god are moving. Indra and Mrityu are also acting under his direction. These are the statements of the Vedas. And that is why, one of the reasons, the devotees are not afraid of Mrityu. Like, I think it was 1971, Prabhupada was in Delhi. And that was the time when there was India-Pakistan war had started. So Delhi was under blackout and so many restrictions, and they were feared that Pakistan might attack Delhi, or maybe he did also. I don't exactly recall. But devotees were there with Prabhupada, and they were asking how to take this war. And Prabhupada said, if there is a bomb coming down, and Prabhupada said he would see that bomb, look at that bomb and pay respect to him, because he will think Krishna is coming in the form of this bomb. But that was his consciousness, his way of looking at that. Nothing can happen without the mercy of Krishna and without the sanction of Krishna. And if he wants to come as Mrityu, as a death, nobody can stop him either. And in fact, at that time, there were politicians, or not the politicians, I think the journalists, they said, no, we are going to go together, we'll go to the president of Pakistan and have a talk with him and ask him not to attack India or not to attack Delhi. And Prabhupada, of course, he didn't take any political side. He just said, whether, I think it was Yahya Khan that time, whether Yahya Khan attacks or doesn't attack, death is still going to come. We cannot avoid death. So our position is to perform bhakti to such a level that we get transferred to the spiritual life. No more birth, no more old age disease. Hindus or Muslims or Christians or Indians or Pakistanis or Chinese or American or Russian, next life, We just don't want any of this. We want to stop this cycle of birth and death. But even if the death is coming, a devotee looks at it, that Krishna himself is coming. When Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mrityu sarvaraschaham, in the form of death, I take away everything. So devotee looks at death also as Krishna's form, because it's not different or it's not out of the control of Krishna. So might as well surrender. That's all. Gyan Vairagya Yuktena Bhakti Yogena Yoginam Kshemaya Padam Mulam Me Pravishanti Akuto Bhem. The yogi is equipped with transcendental knowledge and renunciation and engaged in devotional service for the eternal benefit. Take shelter of my lotus feet, and since I am the Lord, they are thus eligible to enter into the kingdom of Godhead without fear. One who actually wants to be liberated from the entanglement of this material world and go back home, back to Godhead, is actually a mystic yogi. The words explicitly used here are Yuktena Bhakti Yogi. Those yogis or mystics who engage in devotional service are the first-class yogis. The first-class yogis, as described in Bhagavad Gita, are those who are constantly thinking of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. These yogis are not without knowledge and renunciation. To become a bhakti yogi means to automatically attain knowledge and renunciation. That is the consequent result of bhakti yoga. So the yogi is mystic. One who actually wants to be liberated from the entanglement of this material world and go back home, back to Godhead, is actually a mystic yogi. But here, Lord Kapila is talking about bhakti yogi. So bhakti yogi, that's the first class yogi who surrenders into Krishna, constantly thinking of Krishna. So this is what we have discussed earlier also, that bhakti yogi, he doesn't have to do anything other than bhakti, and then he gets knowledge and renunciation at the same time. First canto, second chapter, it's also confirmed that one who engages in the devotional service of Vasudeva, Krishna, has complete transcendental knowledge and renunciation, and there is no explanation for these attainments. Ahatuki, without reason, they come. Even if a person is completely illiterate, the transcendental knowledge of the scriptures is revealed unto him simply because of his engagement in devotional service. That is also stated in the Vedic literature. To anyone who has full faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the spiritual master, all the import of the Vedic literatures is revealed. He does not have to seek separately. The yogis who engage in devotional service are full in knowledge and renunciation. If there is a lack of knowledge and renunciation, it is to be understood that one is not in full devotional service. So if one is in devotional, engaged in devotional service, then he is in full knowledge and renunciation. So if he does not have full knowledge and renunciation, means somewhere he is lacking in devotional service. So this is what devotional service do. See, soul is part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna has those 6 opulences: fame, strength, money, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. He is full in all these. So part and parcel of Krishna will also have these qualities in minute quantity, very minute quantity, but all the qualities will be there. And the other qualities of Sat, Chit, and Ananda, that will also be there in the soul, in the spirit soul. So the knowledge is already there, the renunciation is already there. The beauty, the fame, the opulence, Everything is already there. All one has to do is remove the covering of ignorance. That's it. So how do we remove the covering? Is by devotional service. By devotional service, what does it do? Uh, it removes the ignorance, or it lets the original light of knowledge and everything, all the powers of soul to shine through that covering that is keeping everything inside. So when it shines through, it sees who am I and what's the real position, and then he sees Krishna, Krishna's energies, Krishna's powers, and then he understands my only duty is to serve Krishna. So everything is there. The knowledge, everything is there in the soul. It's not some artificial imposition on the soul. It's just we have forgotten. Somehow or other we have forgotten, or it is covered over. So the real knowledge comes forth when we engage in devotion service. The conclusion is that one cannot be sure of entrance into the spiritual realm in either the impersonal Brahm Jyoti effulgence of the Lord or the Vaikuntha planets within that Brahman effulgence. Unless he is surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, the surrendered souls are called Akutobhaya. They are doubtless and fearless, and their entrance into the spiritual kingdom is guaranteed. So Akutobhaya means fearless. A spirit soul, a Jivatma, becomes fearless when it takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Fearless in many ways. Fearless in the sense that he's not afraid of his maintenance in this life. He's not afraid of that he will not get protection from the Supreme Lord or some person in case he gets into any kind of trouble. And the other fear is, and the difficult type of fear is, after death, what? What will happen to me after death? And if he has some knowledge of Vedic scriptures, he'll start thinking, I don't want to go down to any other species of life. So that fear is there. But when one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he's called Akutobhaya, means no more fear, no more worries. So Bhajahu Reman Shri Nandanandan Abhay Charanaravind. That is a bhajan for a fearless person, because then he is completely dependent upon the Lord. What is there to be worried about? When Krishna says, Name Bhakta Pranashati, my devotee never perishes, I always look after my devotees, there's nothing to fear. And the spirit soul, he doesn't have these negative qualities of fear, anger, revenge, enviousness. They don't have. These are the qualities that we acquire when we take this body, just like the whole package. It comes with the whole package. So we engage in devotional service, and we can become fearless. Text 44. Etavanev lokyasmin punsam nishreyas sodaya tivrena bhakti yogena manomayarpitam stiram. Therefore, persons whose minds are fixed in the Lord engage in the intensive practice of devotional service. That is the only means for attainment of the final perfection of life. So intensive practice of devotional service, that is what is required. Here the words mano mai arpitam, which means the mind being fixed on me, are significant. One should fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna or his incarnation. To be fixed steadily in that freedom is a way of liberation. Amrish Maharaj is an example. He fixed his mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. He spoke only on the pastimes of the Lord. He smelled only the flowers and tulsi offered to the Lord. He walked only to the temple of the Lord, and he engaged his ears for hearing the great pastimes of the Lord. In that way, all his senses were engaged. First of all, the mind should be engaged at the lotus feet of the Lord, very steadily and naturally, because the mind is the master of the senses. When the mind is engaged, all the senses become engaged. That is Bhakti Yoga. Yoga means controlling the senses. The senses cannot be controlled in the proper sense of the term. They're always agitated. That is true that is true also with a child. How long can he be forced to sit down silently? It's not possible. Even Arjuna said, Chanchalam hi manaha Krishna. The mind is always agitated. The best course is to fix the mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. Mano maya arpitam sthiram. If one seriously engages in Krishna consciousness, that mind is held. When one is seriously engaged in Krishna consciousness, that is the highest perfectional stage. All Krishna conscious activities are on the highest perfectional level of human life. So when we engaged our mind in the service of the Lord, in Bhakti Yoga process, it gets, still it is difficult, but comparatively it's easier to control the mind that way. Because we are giving a positive engagement to the mind. And then Prabhupada quotes the example of Maharaj Amrish. So he fixed all his senses, all his activities in the service of the Lord. He fixed his mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. He spoke only on the pastimes of the Lord. He smelled only the flowers and tulsi leaves offered to the Lord. He walked only to the temple of the Lord. He engaged his hands in cleansing the temple. And he engaged his tongue in tasting the foodstuff offered to the Lord. And he engaged his ears for hearing the great pastimes of the Lord. So in this way, all his senses were 24 hours engaged in the service of the Lord. So that is what we have to do. If not 24 hours and 20 hours, and not 20, 16, 8, 4, 2, at least 1 hour, we use it in the service of the Lord. And this is what the sloka also says, to render sincere service, intensive practice of devotional service. So that is what is required from us. That is what is expected from us. Intensive practice of devotional service. Not taking it lightly, taking it easy, but really working hard on this. Then we can make progress. So this ends the 25th chapter. So we'll start. If somebody has questions or comments, great. Otherwise, I'll start 26th chapter. Okay, let's start the 26th chapter. Now this chapter is little technical, so we have to pay really close attention to this one.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, just
Yes,
one
Prabhuji.
minute. I
Yes.
have a question, Prabhuji, on the statement of Amrish Maharaj, which you have covered earlier as well. We just wanted to understand how, as a person like, let's say me, how do we engage every moment in service of Krishna? Because here, in fact, it seems very, very kind of firm and strict. So person like us was still struggling. How do we fix everything for Krishna? Thank you, Prabhu.
See, first is our chanting that we do every day. But the chanting has to be proper, first of all. And when the chanting is proper, our consciousness automatically improves. And then at home or at work or going to work, coming back to work, we can definitely see Krishna everywhere. So going to work, of course, here Ambrish Maharaj was going to the temple of the Lord. Going to work, understanding that this work is given to me by mercy of the Lord. The capability to perform this work is given by Krishna's mercy. So we have to do the work, but understanding that Krishna has given me this job. Krishna has given me the capability to do this job properly. Krishna has given me opportunity to do this job. So whatever money I earn from it, I should use part of it in the service of Krishna. And whatever part, that's up to you. So at job also, many times we become victimized of the office politics. But understanding that Krishna has given me this job, Krishna has given me these colleagues who might be playing whatever dirty tricks they are on me. But after all, it's Krishna who has orchestrated everything. So that way we can think of Krishna all the time, even at home or in the marketplace, going to the work, coming back from work. So slowly, we have to develop these kind of thoughts. They're not just going to come on its own. So we have to develop, we have to work on this. So at home, my wife, my kids, they're provided to me by Krishna's mercy. And my job is to take care of them, serve them nicely, take care of their needs, emotional, physical, spiritual, material, whatever needs they have. So keeping Krishna in mind, Krishna in the center of everything, then that's how we can make progress. We can think of Krishna always. Is that okay?
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare.
I have one question and something that I've been dealing with from a couple of days. I have been practicing on chanting on Shivji for many years now. Good 7-8 years if I can remember. Okay. Now that I've started chanting on Mahamantra and I make it a point to do it at least 16 rounds, if not more. What I've realized, what I've encountered is that, whenever I chant on Mahamantra and I'm working on something in office, my mind just doesn't work. I mean, I don't know, probably because I'm so used to chanting on Shivji and my mind is so used to, this addiction of Shivji that, whenever I have to do something, whenever I have to apply my brain onto something, I have to chant on Shivji, because if I chant on Mahamantra while doing something, mine just doesn't work. I don't know why. I'm being very candid. No offenses. I love Krishna. I love chanting on Mahamantra. But that is what the problem is. I thought that I should leave chanting on Shivji and just chant on Mahamantra every day and day out, because that's what I usually do on Shivji. But then it just doesn't happen. So what I do is I manage my time. Sometimes on Shivji, sometimes on Mahamantra. That's how I manage. Is there a problem with me?
No, that's okay. You continue on with that. So Shivji is giving you lots of blessings, lots of mercy.
Right.
But understanding, I mean, the classes here, of course, we are Vaishnava, so we focus on Krishna and Krishna's incarnation, but understanding the position of Lord Shiva also and respecting him, everything is there. So everybody is different. So you continue, carry on with your standing of Lord Shiva's mantra. Nothing wrong.
So I can chant both, right? I mean, I can manage my time, dividing my time to both, right? That's okay, right?
That's fine. That's fine.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you. I think Asha Mataji has a question. She has raised her hand.
Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You spoke about the nature of the spirit, soul spirit, that it it lives on love and care and all the good qualities and characteristics. And the negatives, which is jealousy and anger, etc., is not the natural part of spirit. Can you please explain a little more about it? Because practically, living in this material nature, uh, both could come in any time. The negative side also, how does that come? You did mention that material, world brings such things, and they, such things come up. But how, if the natural nature or the basic fundamental of soul spirit is love and care in Krishna, then why does other things come? And how can we inculcate more of the natural pluses of the soul spirit in our day-to-day life?
Um, See, when we studied 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 17th and 18th, where three modes of material nature and the qualities of three modes. So there we studied mode of passion means can lead to anger and greediness, and ignorance can lead to sleepiness or other qualities. So these are the material qualities, obviously, they're not the spiritual qualities. It doesn't mean that in the spiritual world there is no anger. Anger is there. Like Yashodami also gets angry at Krishna, but that's for service of Krishna, or taking care of Krishna, not not the other kind of anger that we have in the material world, or the jealousy, or other negative qualities. So these qualities actually don't belong to the soul. These are the material qualities. Soul is all spiritual. So the qualities of the soul are given by Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita. So many places we studied that one should develop these qualities. I think it was 13th chapter, there's some verses there, and other verses also. So means those are the constitutional original qualities of the soul. So how to develop those qualities? First of all, we have to know those qualities, and just like I was once listening to Shivani Bibi's lecture of Brahma Kumari somehow, and she said we have to remind ourselves, I am a divya soul, I am powerful soul. Somehow we've forgotten. So every morning we can remind ourselves, make a prayer. I'm a transcendental divine soul. I'm not this body. By chanting, what we are doing? Chanting is we are asking Radha and Krishna, praying to them to please engage me in your service. Now, we cannot be serving Radha and Krishna with a material mentality, material consciousness. So means we have to come to the level of spiritual consciousness to be able to serve them. So indirectly it's the prayers, right prayers, correct, same prayer. But directly we can also ask, Lord, I'm stuck here, please let me be revealed of my real quality. Yes, I'm a divine soul, I'm surrendered unto you, I'm your servant. So some kind of prayers we can make up, which are right there. That is to remind us who are. So next time we start getting angry, we can remind ourselves of those prayers. No, 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 I'm a divine soul. I'm a peaceful soul. I'm a servant, Krishna. I'm servant of Radharani. Getting angry and having those desires means we are still servant of our senses, servant of our mind. That's not what we are. I'm a servant of Radharani and Krishna, not of my mind. So these qualities have to be inculcated. And chanting, devotion service is a process that makes the basis of these qualities. Because otherwise we could be artificially saying, I'm a divine soul, but there is nothing to base it upon, nothing to rest it upon. So everything is actually geared towards making us more and more spiritual. Is that okay, Mata?
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question or comment? Because I think we can start the next chapter tomorrow.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for the wonderful.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So you all are going to observe this Janta curfew today.
If you are not tired,
Oh, I am very much tired. It's 11:15 here at night.
okay, then it's okay.
Thank you,
You
Prabhuji.
guys
Look
carry.
after yourself.
Prabhuji, you should use this Saturday Sunday class also for half an hour only, because it is taxing you. We understand. You have to get up at 6:30. You have 3:30. I think it's very taxing for you. You can as well then continue having this class for half an hour also.
No,
Yeah, so
Saturday, Sunday, I get up, but then I chant and then I go to sleep.
If it is not taxing for you, it is okay for us, because we are on a
Nice.
Saturday Sunday mood.
It's
But otherwise, then if you think that it is very taxing for you, you can reduce the class into half an hour again.
whenever I'm tired,
Earlier.
I just let you know.
Chalo, theek hai, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Since we are attending the class online, we are not supposed to go anywhere. So we can a little earlier also, maybe 7 o'clock here, and that would make it maybe 9:30 for you there.
No, let's not change the time, otherwise it gets confusing.
Okay.
That's also an issue. So it's okay. You guys carry on with your japa. I think you're gonna do your japathon.
Yeah, we are. I have not started. I have to start.
Yeah, you carry on with that. Enjoy your.
Leading the Pramod Prabhu, you have to lead the Japathan today.
By your blessings, Prabhuji will do. I'll
And it's
take
a
it forward.